Welcome to the state of Ohio. I'm Karen Kessler. Last week's announcement that Honda will build a multi-billion-dollar electric vehicle battery plant in Fayette County may have come as a surprise to some, but it was what others have been working and sacrificing for. The announcement was the culmination of decades of work and planning, as Statehouse correspondent Jo Ingles reports.
You could call this 1,500 acres a field of dreams for Fayette County Commissioner Tony Anderson.
It's not often that I get to see people and look them in the face and say, thank you for bringing a $3.5 billion project into Fayette County.
Anderson is just one of those celebrating news that Honda will build its new $3.5 billion electric vehicle battery production facility there. Honda and LG Energy Solution say the plant will produce 40 gigawatt hours of lithium-ion battery packs by the end of 2025, enough to power more than 700,000 vehicles. And there's expected to be a lot of demand. By 2035, half of all passenger vehicles sold around the world are expected to be electric. It's taken about 2 decades to develop and market the mega site at I-71 and State Route 35 near Jeffersonville into what it is now. Bruce Johnson was lieutenant governor in the Taft administration when the idea for the site was just a dream.
It started during the Hyundai project in the early 2000s when I was state development director and very frustrated by the fact that we couldn't identify sites immediately that would qualify for a mega investment.
And so the process of gathering enough land for the mega site began.
I remember calling property owners on the telephone, pleading with them, will you do this for the state of Ohio? People are attracted to getting top dollar for their property. That's the way the world works, and that's fine. If you get too greedy, you lose a project. And if you lose a project like this, you lose billions of dollars of investment and tens of thousands, frankly, of impacted people. So my hope in trying to get people to be willing to sell the family farm is to look at the bigger picture.
After getting enough property owners to say yes, the project began. Jamie Gentry has worked in a variety of capacities to get this mega site to the point it is now.
My involvement goes back at least 20 years, working on the site in various levels of government, but mostly working here with the local partners, from planning a lot of the early due diligence studies and things that went into the site, making sure the zoning was in place, working on a lot of the incentives that would go towards future projects, and really just the marketing of the site to all of our partners at every level of government in the development world.
Republican Senator Bob Peterson was a Fayette County commissioner 20 years ago when he says Honda looked at this mega site for a different project.
Honda was looking to expand, and we kept getting more interest from Honda, and ultimately it came down to one other site in Ohio, our site, and then a site in Indiana that they were looking at. And over a period of months, we supplied more information, told them what we do, they told us what they needed. Ultimately, they went to Indiana, and that was pretty heartbreaking.
Since then, Peterson says he's worked as an elected official to make the site more attractive by reducing regulations and taxes for companies like Honda. Meanwhile, the farmers whose land is part of the mega site held out hope too. David Martin, the farmer who is the principal landowner, says when Honda came back earlier this year for a second time, the decision was simple.
It does feel good. It feels very good. And in the position that we were in, we had the ultimate veto power to choose the right company for this community. And sometimes you're faced with a decision that's very difficult to make because we had to say no several times, and ultimately it was a very easy decision for us to make for Honda.
The state has proposed a $71.3 million job creation tax credit for Honda based on the company's recent announcement for an investment of up to $4.2 billion in the EV battery plant and retooling of Honda's 3 manufacturing facilities. The Ohio Tax Credit Authority will consider the proposal, marked as a 1.871% credit over 30 years, at its next meeting. The job creation tax credit is performance-based and would be subject to reviews of Honda's job creation and payroll commitments. And state lawmakers are also considering an $85 million plan to make upgrades to address the plant's significant needs for water and road infrastructure. The county engineer, who has spent much of his career working on the site, says there's still work to do.
We have some roadway work, some water work, some sewer work, a little bit of stormwater work, a little bit of everything. We've got a plan for everything. We've got a funding plan for everything. So it's just a matter now of doing it and doing it on time.
It's unclear whether there will be job losses at Honda's 3 existing manufacturing plants as they transition away from making traditional gas-powered cars. But for the 28,000 residents in Fayette County, a community that's been losing population in recent years, Honda's plans to create 2,200 jobs at the EV battery plant is exciting.
Having grown up here and worked here, there's a mentality of you've got to go outside the community for an opportunity, and I think this changes that. It really changes that in a way that now it's on you to get that opportunity, and you don't have to go outside the community for it.
There's another line from a great movie that says when you clearly believe that it will work out in the end and it hasn't worked out, you're not at the end.
Jo Ingles, Statehouse News Bureau.